What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Onlyvaro, and today we're gonna be dyeing and restringing my backup stick. So let's get right into it. Here we go, restringing my Mirage 2.0. This is a backup, so I'm gonna be taking out the old mesh that was originally in the head, and I'm gonna give you a quick little preview of what we were looking at for a final product. But right now, so we're gonna wash it. You kind of see these marks on here because I used it during the season, but the reason we're washing it is because we are gonna dye this head. So you want to wash it first, and then you get your pot, get your water boiling. I did want to dye this head blue, and I originally ordered blue dye, but apparently they were out of blue dye, so my Instacart lady bought me gray dye, which sucked because it's not really what I wanted, but it kind of works out for me later. You'll see in the video. Anyway, so at this point, now that we've got our water kind of boiling, we're going to go ahead and add our dye in and stir it up, get everything mixed up in there. When I first started putting my head in and dipping it to kind of get a feel for what the color was, the first pack of gray was just too light. It was too similar to white, and it wasn't really giving me the dark gray that I was going to settle for since I couldn't get blue. So what I did was I added a second pack of gray to kind of hopefully darken up the gray and get a nice dark color. But when I mixed it up, what it did was the two grays ended up making kind of a blue color. So you can see right here, I was very surprised when I pulled my head out and it was like a light blue. It wasn't really what I was expecting. Originally, I was just gonna do a gray fade, kind of just gray at the top, white at the bottom. But once I figured out the head was turning blue, I just decided to go the whole way blue. And so this is kind of what the final product looks like, kind of like a marble gray. I think since the head's got some marks and some scratches on there, everything wasn't completely solid blue, so it's got some marks. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw the head in the fridge so that it doesn't warp or lose some of its shape from the heat that we had put to it when we dyed it. So at this point, we are restringing the head. I went with a different pattern that's in my Mirage 2 that was strung by ECD Greg. Kinda, for this one, I pulled the mesh down a lot to get a tighter channel, just trying to want to see that out. Just to try to a bit more hold in my stick to see if it's something I may want to switch to. So at this point, I'm kind of finishing up the sidewalls. Sidewalls I did here, I did a lot of SIs, a double SI, and a few ones at the bottom to allow it to have a little bit of shift at the bottom. Kind of bag it out a little bit, but it's still that mid-low pocket that I like to have, that I'm accustomed to using. And this channel ended up really tight, and I'll show you in a few seconds, but once I finished up stringing it, it's just extremely tight. Like, it can barely fit the ball. The channel is smaller than the ball, so what we had to go and do is pound the pocket. Preferably I like a baseball bat because I just feel like it works better, but I couldn't find mine, so I just had to use the end of a lacrosse stick to kind of pound the pocket and stretch that mesh out a little bit just to allow the pocket to form and allow that channel to loosen just a bit, because I'm sure it may be illegal right now. However, after we finished up with that, we added some shooters. You can see me adding 2 shooters right now, but I ended up having 3 shooters in this stick at one point, just to, I figured it would be a smooth release, so 3 shooters might help out with that. So that's what I ended up starting with here. So this is the original final product. I think the color came out really well. I like how the striker mesh looks with it, and the burgundy top string is just kind of cool. So like I said earlier, definitely needed to break the pocket in a bit more because this stick came out illegal for sure. Like, the ball wasn't coming out, and this is the first pass I threw with it straight to the ground, so it definitely took some work to do, but it's my first couple of shots with it. It's smooth, but it'll hook sometimes, and I feel like I was missing a lot of shots where I feel like I was aiming and I couldn't get it on cage because it was hooking and then it was smooth. But I ended up taking out a shooter. So I ended up taking out that first shooter, and now I'm left with 2. It started to feel a bit better, but I never built a great consistency with the stick. But I think it's because I still got some more break-in time, and just it's a different release from what I'm really used to. So I'm just gonna wrap the video up. I hope everyone enjoyed. I'm still kind of breaking this in. I'm probably gonna use my other Mirage for the meanwhile, but I think I'm gonna try and break this in a little bit more. End up taking the shooters out to just kind of get the pocket beaten up a bit, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Peace.